Cancer is a continuously growing global health problem that poses major challenges, most especially in developing countries. Find out how this international distributor of innovative health products came up with a series of solutions to help increase a patient's chance to survive the odds. In 2020, the Philippines hit a record of 354,398 prevalent cancer cases within a 5-year period. But because of poor access to health care, especially for people living below the poverty line, the advances and breakthroughs in cancer remain unattainable to many.
Cancer refers to a group of diseases that's characterized actually by cell growth, abnormal cell growth and proliferation, inflammation, as well as angiogenesis or formation of new blood vessels. It always starts with mutation in the genome or the genetic makeup of a person inside the cell. Before PPARs, most of my patients, they were unable to finish the chemotherapy regimens because of the side effects and because of discomfort during the process of chemotherapy.
Maria's son Dominic was diagnosed with stage 4 rhabdomyosarcoma when he was only 4 years old. While coping with the recovery of her other sick child, Maria found it hard to accept Dominic's condition.
It was actually very devastating kasi with Dominic, it was manifested mga 4 years old na siya eh. Unlike dun sa daughter ko na congenital talaga, baby pa lang. Yung mga bandang September, meron ng umuumbok-umbok dito sa leeg niya. Hindi ko talagang inisip na cancer kaagad siya until nag-nosebleed siya.
Dominic was prescribed chemotherapy, but his family insisted to rush to an integrative doctor to seek for alternative cure.
Medyo hesitant ako kasi as a mother, I know the side effects ng chemotherapy kasi. So what I did is that I rushed towards the integrative doctor of my daughter, who happened to be PPAR partner doctor of Simply Nature.
One of the hardest decisions to make for people living with cancer is choosing the kind of treatment that would work best. To help patients and their families deal with this growing health problem, one company commits to producing safe, credible, and natural health solutions by drawing on the latest bioscience technology to deliver a series of safe, efficient, and natural products. What is Simply Nature and what does it do?
Simply Nature is a company we created and founded about 10 years ago. Our mission is to find effective health solutions for people. So we provide natural products that work in combination with conventional therapy and medicine.
As an international company that provides natural solutions for cancer, metabolic syndrome, and degenerative diseases, the management upholds a health philosophy that centers on whole food nutrition as the frontier in health management.
When we talk about choosing treatment, especially in the area of cancer, patients are really afraid of chemotherapy because of its side effects, and they tend to then look towards natural products. But this is not a either conventional or natural choice. At Simply Nature, patients can have the best of both worlds. Our protocols work with conventional chemotherapy to minimize its side effects so that they can get the best treatment using both conventional and natural together.
Cancer is like a virus. It continuously evolves, it mutates. So it can develop defenses against our usual treatment modalities like chemotherapy.
Like I said, chemotherapy and radiation therapy have a lot of side effects. So more often than not, patients stop their treatment because of these side effects. It's very important to have the support.
With the supplements that we give the patients, there will be lesser side effects, so they will be able to finish their chemotherapy protocols more comfortably.
This company introduced PPARs, which is touted as one of the best natural ways of solving serious health problems.
PPARs stands for peroxisome proliferator activating receptors. It's basically a nuclear receptor found inside the cells. Now, when these receptors are activated, the benefit that you can get from that is, number one, cellular differentiation. Number two, it's to promote fatty acid metabolism. If you have better insulin function, your blood sugar will naturally go down. And another one is to induce cancer cell death by modulating the immune system.
As a sole distributor of PPARs, the company promotes its use to many reputable health institutions worldwide and actively organizes corporate health conferences and public health talks in Asia.
Simply Nature PPARs is made out of a special strain of these types of microalgae. It is very effective by protecting the bone marrow. We maintain the integrity of the immune system of the patient, which is very important to prevent infections and to fight off the cancer itself. And also, Simply Nature PPARs is also very dense in nutrients so that the patient can recover faster because of better cellular healing.
Sabi ko parang na-lead kami to an extraordinary and I must say amazing journey. I'm very proud of him. At a young age, na 8 years old, he believed that it's his purpose to siguro encourage other people then. We would like to really pay it forward with the knowledge that there's really, like Simply Nature, that can help people with cancer very much.
When fighting cancer, living healthy is very important because it allows us to pursue what is important to us in life, and that's what it's all about. When we can help a patient move from being bedridden to getting up, to be lucid in thought so that they can have conversations with their loved ones, it gives the whole process of fighting cancer a whole new meaning. And that is what drives us at Simply Nature.
Hello po, ako nga po pala si Ronaldin Rosales Batalier, 23 years old at ako po ay taga Bicol, Albay. Na-diagnose po ako nung taong 2015, which is ito po yung mixed germ cell tumor sa ovary. Stage 1 po ako nung diagnose ako. Tinanggal po agad yung right ovary ko noon. May nakakita sa akin na taga doon sa amin, sabi niya, what if try ko daw sumali ng contest? Tapos hindi ko nga sinabi na may sakit ako. Sabi ko, sige baka sakaling kahit paano may pandagdag kami sa gastos namin. Then noong 2017 po, yun na po, pabalik-balik yung lagnat ko. Siguro mga 2 weeks hindi ako nawawalan ng lagnat. Tapos yun na, pagpa-check up ko kasi lumaki po yung tiyan ko. Doon ko po nalaman na yung cancer ko daw, numerous to count na siya. Yung sakit sobra pa, yung nararamdaman ko, likod and sa stomach ko. Ganun po lumaki po yung tiyan ko, hirap na hirap po ako. Nagawa po yung nakalatan na din yung lungs ko. Yung sa liver ko, kaya daw po lumaki yung tiyan ko, gawa ng sa liver po. Hindi na masyado nagpa-function yung mga organ ko sa loob ng tiyan. Yun po, ni-repair na po kami sa child house. And then, nung start na nag-chemo ako, doon na po kami tumira. Nag-stay na po sa child house. Akala ko okay na, wala na mangyayaring operasyon ulit. Pero nagulat po ako kasi every monthly check-up na lang po ako. Umuwi lang po ako sa amin tapos nagsusuka na naman ako. Akala ko kung ano na naman po yun. Yung dumi, nilalabas ko sa bibig na. Sabi ko, ano na naman to pa? Kaya na naman tayo, sisimula na naman tayo. May nakita daw po ulit na bukol sa diaphragm. Iyak na naman po ako. Sabi ko, hindi pa nga magaling yung sa ibang organ ko. Tapos ito na naman. Po as of now, wala na po akong treatment and may tumor pa po ako sa diaphragm. And lately, may nakita na naman daw po sa akin ng gallstone sa may gallbladder ko. Napansin ko po talaga, start po uminom ako nung Simply Nature, which is yung powder and tablet po na PPARs. Para pong, pag nainom ko na po siya before ako matulog, pag nakakainom po ako, parang nare-relieve, parang nare-relax po yung katawan ko. Siguro mga 2 days after na take ko po yung gamot, parang napansin ko na parang everyday na ako nagbabawas. Kasi po talaga dati, siguro sa isang linggo, 3 beses lang po ako nagbabawas. And nakita ko po talaga yung good feedback agad ng gamot na ininom ko. Kasi yun nga po, parang pag nainom ko po siya, parang yung sa loob ko na may something ako naririnig na tumutunog. And after yun po, nagbabawas na po ako. And parang ang gaan po sa pakiramdam. And parang medyo po nabawasan yung bloated ko sa tiyan. Start po nung uminom po ako. About po dito sa PPARs powder po, tinitake ko po siya every after meal. And based sa protocol po na ibigay po sa akin ni Doc Jansen, pag morning, which is 5 scoop, nilalagay po sa ilalim ng dila. Antayin mo po yun matunaw. Pag gabi naman po, tinitake ko siya after dinner, which is 4 scoop naman po siya. Kasi sa protocol po is kailangan everyday makatake ako ng 9 scoop. So, kapag po, based po sa observation ko, kapag po naiinom ko po itong PPARs powder,
Parang yung something na tumutunog po talaga sa tiyan ko na parang may something, parang kiniklense na yung sa loob ng tiyan ko. And after po nun, magbabawas na ako. So parang after ko pong magbawas nun, parang feeling ko sobrang gaan ng pakaramdam ko sa tiyan ko. Tungkol naman po sa PPARS Plus tablets naman po, based sa protocol po na ibinigay po sa akin ni Doc Jansen, ano po siya, kailangan everyday makatake po ako ng 30 tablets. So sa protocol po na sinusunod ko, iinumin ko po siya with empty yung stomach ko. Pag morning, pagkagising ko, ito po talaga agad yung iniinom ko. 15 tablets sa morning, and after naman po, same, kailangan empty din yung stomach mo. 15 sa morning, ng pagkagising ko, and 15 sa evening after dinner ko before ako mag-sleep. Kasi yun nga po, mas pinipili ko siya after dinner na lang po siya inumin para po agad, pag nainom ko po siya, yun nga po, nare-relieve yung katawan ko, parang mabilis po ako nakakatulog, and naiiwasan ko po yung insomnia na lagi ko pong nararanasan noon po, lalong-lalo na po nung after po ako mag-chemo. So yun. Daily routine ko, yun, gumigising ako ng umaga for exercise kasi yun din yung advice sa akin ng doktor ko. Kailangan may regular exercise ako and pagkain ng mga masustansya pagkain. And yun nga po, nabanggit ko last time na mahilig talaga ako magluto. Yun po talaga, kapag kumakain po kami sa office, talagang ako po yung luluto po para sa pagkain po namin ng ibang mga kasamahan ko pasyente. As of now, thankful po ako kasi isa po ako sa nakatanggap ng scholarship sa isang magandang universidad dito sa Manila. Isa po sa nag-udyok sa akin para kumuha ako ng kursong education is yung mga bata po na kasamahan ko dito. So, nakikita ko po yung hirap ng papa ko. So, sinasabi ko sa sarili ko na hindi ako kailangan panghinaan ng loob. Kasi yung papa ko, nilalaban niya ako eh. Pero ako that time po kasi kapag naiisip ko yung taning ko, parang ang sakit po. Like, nakikita ko yung papa ko na lumalaban. Pero yung katawan ko, pakiramdam ko po kasi sumusuko na kahit yung utak ko, yung puso ko gusto ko lumaban. Hindi matutumbasan ng pasasalamat yung nagawa sa akin ng papa ko kasi talaga sobrang bait ng papa ko.
And nung November po is nag-CT scan po ako. Doon ko po nalaman na may nakita daw po na bagong tumor po sa akin. So that time syempre naisip ko na okay na ako tapos may nakita na naman po ulit na bago. So I am so thankful po kasi nung December po is nakilala ko po kayo. Nakilala ko po sila Mr. Shyan, sila Doc Jansen po at ang Simply Nature staff po na alam ko pong nakatulong po talaga sa akin. And yun nga po, nung nakita po na parang bad yung result ng CT scan ko, and after po ng December, bali po after December po, and until June, July, bali nakatatlong CT scan po ako. At nakita ko po talaga yung improvement po ng result ng CT scan and ultrasound ko po. And I'm so happy po na nitong latest na CT scan ko nung July, tuwang-tuwa po si Doc Jansen kasi talagang nakita po niya na lumiit po talaga yung tumor ko. And masayang-masaya po ako doon. Siguro kung wala yung Simply Nature, siguro yung tumor na nakita po sa akin, I think siguro po mas lalala po siya. Kasi yun nga po ang sabi nila, kapag na-stress yung pasyente, mas lalo po yung nagtitrigger yung cancer po. Kaya yun nga po, maraming salamat po talaga sa Simple Nature kasi kung hindi po dahil sa inyo, siguro hanggang ngayon stop pa rin po ako sa pag-aaral. Ngayon po, gusto ko lamang po pala ipaabot ang aking pasasalamat kila Doc Jansen and Mr. Shyan. Maraming salamat po talaga kasi alam ko po talaga nakatulong po siya sa akin at alam ko pong mas lumakas po ako. And sabi nga po ni Doc Jansen na kahit slowly siya, sure naman po talaga nagagaling po ako. Kaya maraming salamat po sa walang sawang pag-support po sa akin.
Simply Healed Medical Group. We appreciate each of you for joining us and sharing this free webinar with your family and breast friends. Last week, Thursday, January 18, we discovered natural solutions for colon cancer with Dr. Johan Kim Mañez, the father of lifestyle medicine in the Philippines. Moving on tonight, I'm going to give you some time to call in your mother, your sister, your wife, tita, and lola, because this is important, guys. 1 of 8 women is diagnosed with breast cancer, which makes it the top 1 cancer in the Philippines. To give more insights, of course, we have a seasoned international speaker on a wide range of topics from personal success to healthcare, who is also the founding director of Simply Nature International, our PPRS expert from Singapore. You all know him. It's Mr. Shyan Lim. Good
Hi,
evening, Sir
Jan.
Shyan.
Well, thank you. Thank you for the wonderful introduction. And you hit all the right points. This is a very, very important topic. So many of our important people in our lives, right? Our mothers, our wives, our sisters, our girlfriends are the ones susceptible to breast cancer. And we're so glad that we are able to talk on this topic tonight. Again, we have Dr. Jansen Kalalan, who will be joining us in discussion. And we all look forward to answering your questions on the Ask Me Anything or AMA session right after the short discussion. So like Jen said, call your best friend, your mom, your sister, your wife, your sister, and, share the link with them so that they can ask questions live with us in the next 20 minutes. And we will do that live session, the Q&A, for another about close to 45 minutes to an hour. We had a great time last week, and we look forward to wonderful questions and interacting with all our viewers. So again, a big welcome to everybody. We look forward to seeing you straight after the discussion. I'll hand the time back to Ms. Jen, who will then introduce our guest, Dr. Jansen Kalalan.
Thank you, Sir Shyan. Yes, we also have Dr. Jansen Kalalan, who graduated from St. Luke's Medical Center College of Medicine, then was conferred as a diplomat of not only the Philippine College, but also the International Board of Lifestyle Medicine. He is also the medical director of SMG, or Simply Healed Medical Group, and a consultant at Alta Integrative Medicine Wellness Complex at Perpetual Health Medical Center, Las Piñas. Now, I'm sure we are very excited to learn how to kill cancer cells in just 2 weeks, reduce chemotherapy side effects, protect your bone marrow to increase your blood count. So let's watch this.
2 weeks,
That's so fast.
They were able to slow the growth of breast cancer. So food really has a big impact on whether your cancer progresses, whether or not you're able to prevent it from happening. Okay, so it's really very important. Okay.
Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Simply Healed. We're so glad to have you back with us, the longest running series on cancer here on Facebook Live.
Yes.
And I'm so happy to have with us Dr. Jansen again.
Hello, Sean. Hello, everyone. Glad to be here again. And welcome to another episode of Simply Healed. So tonight we're going to be talking about breast cancer.
Wow, that's one of the most common cancers and the most common questions that women ask.
Yes. Of course, we all know that once you get cancer, it's almost always a death sentence. But for breast cancer, it's not. Okay, it's not. Especially if you get breast cancer very early. So it's really very important to, of course, catch it very early. But more importantly, prevent it. Okay, so we're going to be talking about effective natural solutions. So this is not about chemotherapy or the other treatment modalities. We're going to be talking all about prevention naturally.
Today, Dr. Jansen is going to really share with you some natural things. And
Yeah.
this works together with conventional therapy as well.
Yes.
These are things that just work, right? If you were to follow them, it will just help your fight against breast cancer.
And we're going to be evidence-based here, everyone. So by evidence-based, we will be talking about studies, okay, research studies. So please bear with me as I explain these studies to you in a short while, okay? Okay, so the first study that we're going to be discussing is the Black Women's Health Study. So the Black Women's Health Study investigated 50,000 African American women.
50,000.
50,000.
That's a huge study.
Yeah, it's a population
Wow,
study.
that's a huge study. That's very evidence-based, everyone.
Yeah. So during the span of the study, which they did for 12 years. So
Oh my goodness, how do you...
it's a decade.
Wow, they really followed up with the
Yes,
patients.
yes.
50,000 patients for 12
For
years.
12 years, yes.
This is
So,
something that we should really look into the
yeah,
results,
so
right?
you can just imagine the scale of this study and the results that we can get from this type of study is going to be really reliable.
Very reliable.
Yeah.
Very
Okay?
reliable.
Because of the sheer number of people, because of the sheer number of sample size. Okay, so during that time, some 450 patients developed new estrogen receptor negative cancer. So when we talk about estrogen receptor negative, that is one of the most virulent cancers
For breast cancer.
For breast cancer. Now, they took a look at their diet, the different diets of this 50,000, and they found out that women who ate at least 2 servings of vegetables per day reduced their risk of breast cancer by 43% compared to those who ate half a serve per day. So
Wow.
what is 1 serving?
Yeah, I was about to ask what is one
What is
serving?
1 serving? 1 serving is just a cup.
A cup.
But the main point of this study is that for you to prevent breast cancer, you should be eating more fruits and vegetables. Okay, more. Okay,
So it's very safe
Yeah.
if you eat more vegetables than meat.
yes.
Then you for sure you know that you
Yeah.
have eaten your 2 servings
Yes.
of vegetables.
Okay. But you know, when you go for a consult, I prescribe more. It's not just
Even
2
more.
servings. It's going to be more.
It's gonna be
Okay?
all vegetables.
It's going to be all vegetables. So if you go for a consult, just so you can have an idea, okay? The number of servings of fruits and vegetables, different plant foods that you're going to be eating throughout the day is going to be at least 9 servings.
At least 9 servings.
At least 9 servings. But I arrange on how you can follow it practically. Now, next, we will be discussing about the Women's Healthy Eating and Living Trial, or the WELL trial. Okay? So in this trial, we just show that what is more important, eating a plant-based diet, exercise, or no exercise at all in preventing cancer. And this have shown that although, eating more plant foods is very important, but exercise or physical activity is also equally important. And if you do both, the benefit is going to be enormous. Okay, so as you can see here in this slide, those who do exercise, who have enough physical activity, those who eat a plant-based diet have less than 5% likelihood of dying from breast cancer. Okay, so these patients are already diagnosed with breast cancer. Okay. Now, if you don't exercise, then it's about 10% likelihood, of dying from breast cancer. And if you do exercise but your diet is not really that good, it's about equal. But if you don't eat enough fruits and vegetables, if you're physically inactive, that would increase to about 11%.
So it really seems that the solution is you have to have both.
Yes.
Eat good fruits and vegetables and exercise.
And move. Okay, so eat good food and move. Okay, so very important. Now, women who had been treated for cancer and then followed a healthy diet and exercise had the best outcomes. The risk of dying from cancer was cut in half. Okay?
Wow. And Doc, if we combine that with today's protocols like chemotherapy plus PPAR protocols, you already have a 90% chance of...
the benefit will be more.
So it will almost be 100% sure that you will not die from breast cancer.
Yes. Well, of course, we're talking about breast cancer here, no? So it really depends on the staging when you were first diagnosed.
Yeah.
So for more advanced breast cancer cases, of course, we want for us to achieve complete remission, but the probability of achieving so is really very low. So that's why it's very important to get treated as early as possible. Okay, and of course, you have to be able to prevent it from happening. So that's the more important.
So any of you who need a refresher on how often you should go for a mammogram and things like that, stay tuned for our AMA segment after this, which I'm sure some of you will be asking, how often, Doc, should we get a mammogram? But let's continue with the actual topic.
Let's continue. So how did this happen? No, do we really have an evidence that the breast cancer was really by doing these exercises, this plant-based cooking, these plant-based diet, how were they able to confirm?
To confirm
To confirm that the the breast cancer cells are actually dying and the spread is actually stopping. Okay, so this study actually showed that those women who go on a plant-based diet and who exercise actually lost weight. And together with their weight loss, the researchers also look at the rate of growth of the breast cancer. So before they went into this regimen, okay, so this regimen was only for 2 weeks, okay, 2 weeks of eating healthy and exercising, huh?
Oh, just
Okay.
2 weeks.
This is just 2 weeks, so you can just see how effective this is. So before the diet, breast cancer cells, 3 types of breast cancer cell lines, all are growing 100%, as you can see on the red bars. Okay?
So the bottom is the different types of breast cancer.
Yeah.
All right.
The x-axis, different types of breast cancers, and then the y-axis is the rate of growth, okay, of each.
So
breast
all is
cancer cell
100%.
line.
I saw
All
the
100%
red-
before the trial. And after the trial, after 12 days,
12 days, just 12 days. My
all the
goodness.
patients, cancer cells slowed the growth.
Well, that's fantastic because what we all want in the treatment of cancer is to buy more time.
Yes.
More time for everything to work.
Yeah.
So when you can slow down the growth of the tumor, you bought more time.
Mm-hmm.
More time for you to take your PPARs, to go for your chemos if you need
Yeah.
to, you know,
Mhm.
and that's just a lifesaver. So 2 weeks.
Yeah, 2 weeks. They
That's
were
so fast.
They were able to slow the growth of breast cancer.
Wow.
So from this, okay, so the image on your left is the breast cancer cells dropped on the petri dish. Okay, then they got the blood of the participants and then dripped it on the petri dish, and on your right is the after effect.
Wait,
okay?
so the blood of the participants actually was hostile and it
Yes.
caused the breast cancer cells
to dissolve.
to dissolve. Oh my
And that
goodness.
is in just 2 weeks. Okay, you
In
can just
2
imagine they were able to stop the growth of breast cancer cells. And another one, okay, were they just be able to slow down the growth? Actually, no. They were able to actually see the breast cancer cells die. Okay, it's
Wow.
not just slowing the growth, but actually killing them. Okay, so in this graph, so again, the x-axis are the different breast cancer cell lines, and the y-axis is the apoptosis or the cell death.
Okay, I'm gonna interrupt you here, Doc. I'm just gonna flash up on the screen. Everybody, let's learn this word because if you are joining us every week on the topic of cancer, you've got to know what apoptosis is, right?
Okay.
So apoptosis is the natural cell death.
Yes,
and
it's just cell death. Okay,
Alright.
so it's just the medical term for cells dying.
cells
Okay,
dying.
so apoptosis. All right. So before the trial, 100% of the breast cancer cells are there, but after the trial, the green bars you can see breast cancer cell death increased.
Wow, increased by 25%
Yeah,
for the first
25%,
one.
which is really
Increased
huge.
by almost 30%, 25%. Oh, that's just great.
Yeah.
Imagine slowing the growth
And
and
then
then
killing-
dying it themselves too. Wow.
Okay. So as evidence, this is what we call as tunnel imaging. Okay. So this imaging actually shows DNA fragments. So it's a measure of cell death. Okay. So the image on your left, the black image is we don't see any
No casualties.
Yeah, no casualties. You do not see any DNA fragments. On your right, it lights up like a Christmas tree.
So these
right?
are like the broken parts
Yeah.
of your
Those are the
cancer
broken
cells.
parts of your cancer cells.
Wow, that's
Alright,
just great
so you
news.
can
You want to
just
see your
imagine.
cancer cells broken up. That's what
Okay.
we want, right?
So yeah, of course, we really have a lot of evidences that breast cancer cells can actually die. We can actually slow down the growth.
Yes.
But of course, we cannot just rely on these natural solutions alone. Of course, it's cancer that we're dealing with. So if you develop cancer, it's almost always a death sentence now. Okay.
or you guys, number one, just go for a consult with Dr. Jansen. Now you know, right, that a simple consult just on your dietary plan is going to have a real impact on your cancer fight for
Yes.
cancer.
So food really has a big impact on whether your cancer progresses, whether or not you're able to prevent it from happening. Okay, so it's really very important. Okay.
But Doc, you were right. You were about to say, but what happens if the cancer is more serious? It has already gone to a more advanced stage.
Yes, then we have to use all the modalities that are available to us. Okay,
So that would mean chemo.
Yeah, that would mean your chemo, radiation therapy, hormone therapy, immunotherapy, surgery even, no? So it's really very important that we use all of these modalities to fight cancer. Of course, we have to still look at our case, no? We should be able to fulfill. We should be able to fulfill the criteria of these treatment modalities, because not all treatment modalities such as this will be applicable to you, especially if you have specific kinds of breast cancer or specific types of breast cancer. Okay, but nevertheless, if you are undergoing radiation therapy, chemotherapy, which is still the more common treatment modalities for breast cancer, it would be the side effects that is the number one
Yes,
cause
everybody
for
is
concern.
afraid of the
everyone
side
is
effects.
afraid, and more often than not, people actually don't.
They
finish.
actually stop
They
because of
actually
the
stop.
side effects.
Actually, the statistics, the number of the percentage or the proportion of cancer patients who drop out from chemotherapy, radiation therapy is actually 30%. So
Wow.
out of 100 of cancer patients who undergo chemotherapy, radiation therapy, about 30 of them drop out
Just from side effects.
because of the side effects. So they are not able to finish. So we
And
have
for these 30 patients, it might the chemo might be working for them.
it might be working, but
They couldn't
it's just,
take the
they
side
cannot take the side effects, so they stop. Or the oncos see that okay, we cannot continue with chemotherapy anymore because your blood cell counts are already too low. So here's a solution for that. Okay, why is the blood cell count so low? It's because chemotherapy, radiation therapy almost always destroys the bone marrow, and it's the bone marrow where the blood cells are formed. Okay, so if the bone marrow is poisoned, it's destroyed, then blood cell counts will naturally go down. You'll be prone to infection, be prone to anemia. You can be prone to bleeding. Okay, so all these side effects. So there's actually a way or a product that I usually prescribe to prevent bone marrow toxicity, which is actually Simply Nature PPARs. Okay, so here's the evidence behind it. Okay.
Look at the picture. The top one, because this was the research that we did, at Simply Nature. So we actually tested our Simply Nature extracts with cisplatin. It is one of the chemo drugs being used for breast cancer.
Yeah.
And what happens, you can see on the top row is a healthy bone marrow. What you see on the second row is what happens when your bone marrow comes into contact with your chemotherapy drug. You see how it breaks up, how it's being damaged and destroyed. And the last row you see, which looks almost the same as the top row, which is a healthy bone marrow, is when we expose chemotherapy drugs together with the Simply Nature PPAR extract. And you can see it has protected the bone marrow, which means, like you said, Doc, your red blood cell, white blood cell counts are all going to remain high. You're going to be healthy for the rest of your immunotherapy, your chemotherapy.
Yes.
All this is very important.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
So I think I see the questions coming in.
Questions are already pouring in, so I think we can go now to the Ask Me Anything segment. So
Again, thank you very much for joining us on this episode. Let's go to the questions. Hi, this is Shan, and I'm here to update you with a quick teaser. October 14th of 2023, we had our very first post-pandemic face-to-face conference on cancer, and it was a smash hit. The participants loved the ability to ask our panelists of myself, Dr. Jansen, our expert in lifestyle medicine, and Dr. Jimmy Katapia, who's our oncological surgeon. They were able to get all the answers they wanted about cancer and whether or not to go for surgery. So we are planning in 2024 another session by popular demand, because everyone wanted us to have another one so that they can bring their friends. So a quick teaser, we're going to have back Dr. Jansen, Dr. Jimmy Katapia, so all of you with questions on chemotherapy, on surgery, the doctors and the panelists are there to answer your question. And we have an upcoming special guest. We are hoping to get someone who is going to be an expert on diagnosis, something like liquid biopsy. All right, so that's something new and on the cutting edge of cancer diagnostics. So those of you who could not make it for our face-to-face, well, this time round in 2024 on March 16th, we're gonna do ours with a Zoom option. So those of you who are in the province who can't join us here in Metro Manila, look out for the details so that you can join us on the Zoom cast.
Have it. When it comes to breast cancer, knowledge is power. Now may I call on Mr. Shyan Lim and Dr. Jansen Kalalan.
Hi, Jen. Hi, Doc. Good to see you, Doc.
Hi, hello Jen, hello Shan. Happy to be here. Hello to all our viewers.
Yes, and look forward to the March 16 event, Doc. So nice to be able to have you together on the panel again. We're trying to get a specialist on the diagnosis. No, not confirmed yet, but it's still going to be a great event. The last, as you can see from the video, is another high point for the year. So many concurrent viewers tonight. I guess tonight's topic is really close to heart. It is the most common cancer, one of the most common cancer. Certainly the one that affects most families in the sense that it's a very important person, the mother, the daughter, the sister in the family. So let's go, Jen, and start with the Q&A.
Yes, at this point, questions are very much welcome. Just type them down in the comment section below. Kahit Tagalog, okay lang po. I can see lots of questions coming up and shown privately. So let us start the live AMA or Ask Me Anything portion. First question coming from Miss Tessa Estrella Bautista. Stage 1 invasive ductal carcinoma, triple negative cancer. Had mastectomy on right breast and finished 6 chemo sessions last November 2023. Now, what is the best prevention for me so as not to recur, especially triple negative cancer?
Yeah, very good question, actually. Now, here's the problem, no? There are a lot of cancer patients who finished their chemotherapy, all the treatments required by the onco, no, judiciously. But unfortunately, some of them have recurrences. So why is this so? It's because chemotherapy does not kill cancer stem cells. Okay? Yeah, that's right. There are certain chemotherapy medications that do so, but since cancer stem cells are not actively replicating, the effect is not that profound because chemotherapy actively kills cells that are actively multiplying or have a very high multiplication rate. Okay? Like cancer. Cancer is it's literally a lump of cells that's replicating relentlessly, no, or uncontrollably. Okay, so how then do we address the cancer stem cells? So there are a few procedures that you can do. Actually, there are some, no. So one would be intravenous vitamin C, intravenous mega dose vitamin C that can kill cancer stem cells, but it has to be in combination with doxycycline. Doxycycline it's an antibiotic medication, but we're using it to kill cancer stem cells in combination with the IV vitamin C. Okay, so it potentiates each other in that way. Okay, so that's one. Another one is PPARs. PPAR agonists can kill cancer stem cells. Others include other medications, no, like metformin. Metformin is a medication for diabetes. It can also kill cancer stem cells. Actually, I have a list here. Okay. Another one is for a while. Let me just okay, here we go. I'll just enumerate some of them, no, because it's a lot. It's really literally a lot. Okay, you have here Kamu Kamu. It's an herbal supplement. Okay, You can also have probiotics, specifically Akkermansia, Municipalia. So if you can procure that kind of a product that has that probiotic, then it can also be used. Atorvastatin, which is a medication used to lower cholesterol level. It has some effect on cancer stem cells as well. Your let me just look in. I'll just mention a few that is quite common. No, so this is I think the most common one. Curcumin, turmeric has effects on cancer stem cells. So there are a lot. EGCG. EGCG is from green tea. I just remember you gave us the little sachets from Taiwan. Yeah, yeah, that has EGCG. So green tea has EGCG, you know, so that also has effects on cancer stem cells. So the things that I am mentioning, these are the things that you can consider um, taking. Okay, these are supplements, no? So these are things that you can take. How about for your lifestyle, no? Lifestyle change? Of course, you have to go on a plant-based diet as much as you can, right? Yeah. And then the cooking methods as well. Make sure that you don't cook with high heat. Make sure you always cook with water, all right? And then lastly, of course, physical activity. You have to exercise. Okay, so 30 minutes every day of moderate intensity exercise would be enough. Okay, so those are some tips.
I'd like to add and confirm, support what Dr. Jansen has said, because on my part, I've met, Doc, I remember going to a friend's wedding, and then he introduced me to one of his aunties, and she was in a bandana. So obviously, when we see a lady in a bandana, first thing that comes to mind is she's undergoing chemotherapy. And then it's true, she's actually a cancer survivor, but her cancer came back, relapsed. So I think this is very close to our viewers' question, how to prevent this relapse. And no, she said to me, Shen, you're in this industry and then you meet many cancer patients. So what did I do wrong? Right? She asked that question, and I told her, no, you absolutely didn't do anything wrong, because obviously you succeeded in beating cancer. So congratulations to our viewer for beating cancer. Hallelujah, for being cancer-free at the moment. And we want to help you tonight by giving you tips, starting you on your journey. You continue to do your research to see what fits, what makes sense to you, so that you can stay cancer-free for the rest of your life. All right. So anyway, I told that the tita, or the auntie of my friend, I said, tita, you didn't do anything wrong, but what you did is perhaps you didn't do enough. You didn't do enough, right? So what is the enough we're talking about? The enough that we're talking about is during your cancer treatment, when you're undergoing chemotherapy, when you're undergoing immunotherapy, radiation, did you protect yourself from the side effects of chemotherapy? Did you incorporate a lot of the things that Dr. Jansen has said, about green tea extracts? Doc, you said curcumin. Did you say curcumin?
Yes, curcumin, turmeric. Yeah, it also is good.
Yeah, so here's the thing. As a cancer patient and as a cancer survivor, one thing we want to do is try to naturally incorporate all these things into part and parcel of your life, right? So perhaps if you're a lady, because for guys, it's actually not too good to drink too much green tea, okay? But for ladies, it's actually great, right? So if you incorporate it, instead of drinking Coca-Cola, coffee, if you make drinking green tea, your part, and our other host Sheila, I remember I invited Sheila to a Japanese restaurant, and we were drinking a Japanese ocha, right, green tea, and she was like, she's like, sir, where's the sugar? And Jen is guilty. Jen is guilty, right? Jen, when we had the catechin, when we had the green tea extract, Jen wanted to add sugar to it, but what you need to do is get used to these things, incorporate it into your life so that they will have a compounding effect. Of course, when it comes to things like green tea and everything, for therapeutic effect, when you're under cancer attack, you have to, it's not really that effective. We don't know, because these are natural products. We don't know like the therapeutic level, how much you must take in order to see good effect. But we know it is helpful against your fight for cancer. So this is something you should just incorporate in your life. When it comes to supplements, we're very clear, right, that PPAS tablets is a maintenance level, and we would definitely encourage any person who has beaten cancer to at least go for a strong boost on your immune system by taking either the soft gel or the powder immediately after you've been declared, you've beaten your cancer. Why? We want to strengthen your immune system while you're strong and to mop up all the remaining small cancer cells that are circulating in your system. So as long as you can get rid of most of them, you will slow down the duplication time, the doubling time for cancer cells. And yeah, that means it will take your entire lifetime before it even tries to come back. So these are the tips. I suggest you go for a consult with Dr. Jansen. For those of you, you can also try Simply Nature PPAR protocols. Just drop a message for either a consult or wanting to know more about the products, and someone will get to you to arrange for either the consult or the products. But Dr. Jansen also mentioned, intravenous protocols. So those are really good. So if you're in the Metro Manila area, Dr. Jansen actually does the intravenous, right, Doc?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, so if you're in the Metro Manila area, drop a note, and Beth, HCS will help you arrange an appointment with Dr. Jansen for that. But those of you who are not able to, we deliver our PPAR protocols nationwide and in fact globally. So we have cancer patients in Europe, in Canada, in the Middle East. All right. There was someone who just ordered from what was that? Czechoslovakia. And I think we are having some challenges because of the customs there, Czech Republic, right? But we really have viewers and participants who are fighting cancer with our protocols all over the world. All right. So I hope that answers your question, and that helps every person here who is going to beat their cancer and want to make sure that they never come back.
Yes, and for those of you who wish to have a consult with Dr. Jansen Kalalan, the link to schedule an appointment is in the description box and comment section below. Our pretty healthcare specialist Beth will reach out to you shortly. Moving on to the second question from Ms. Josephine Chua. Number 1, what is your opinion on the repurposed drug ivermectin being used as cancer treatment? Is there any adverse reaction between PPARs and ivermectin?
It's good that there's none. But yeah, ivermectin is one of the good medication for cancer. Okay, ivermectin is an anti-parasitic medication, no, and it's also the most famous drug during the COVID pandemic. Okay, but yeah, it's true though that it has very good effects on cancer. Now, ivermectin, a few benefits or a few effects that we can get from that. For a while, let me just look into my notes. No, I have them some snippets on some of the information. Okay, so ivermectin is really good for reversing chemotherapy resistance. Okay, chemotherapy resistance means that there are cancer cells that develop resistance to chemotherapy. So cancer cells evolve as well, no? Since they are highly replicating, they're growing fast, they're replicating, the tendency of mutations is very high. So sometimes the cancer develops mutations in that when you receive the chemotherapy, it doesn't work anymore. Okay? Ivermectin is a very good tool to reverse that chemo resistance effect. Okay? Aside from that, ivermectin can also kill cancer stem cells. Okay, so it's really good to combine. It can also be combined with immunotherapy. So for those of you who are undergoing pembrolizumab treatment or Keytruda treatment, you can combine it with ivermectin. It potentiates its effect as well. Okay, now PPARs, it doesn't have any interactions with PPAR, so you can use them together, you can take them together. as well. No problem with that. The problem with ivermectin is procurement. Okay. Well, please let me know no, if you find some pharmacies out there that sells them. Yeah, so please let me know because the main reason why I am reluctant on prescribing it is because of the supply. Yeah, so that's the main reason. But if it's readily available in pharmacies and it's cheap enough, then I'm really go I really go for it. Okay, so yeah, please let us know as well. Just down in the comment section or message Simply Nature. Okay.
You know, Doc, this is something which is how shall we say, it's quite a difficult it's something that I guess it's kind of hard for me to really advise patients and viewers how shall we say, with a simple answer, you know, because when we repurpose any drug for usage which is not its original intent, I think what is very important is the knowledge of the doctor, right? I think this is really important when you're exploring alternative use of a drug, then the doctor's knowledge must be very good. You know, it cannot be a doctor who hearsay from another doctor, or for example a wellness expert, right, or naturopathic doctor. That's why, as myself, you know, I'm not a super well versed in ivermectin, so I would try to refrain from talking about this. So it is important where for this viewer who asked this question, right, you need to make sure that your doctor actually knows what he or she is talking about, that they are knowledgeable. For example, you know, as Dr. Jansen said, you know, about chemotherapy. So just test your doctor about does he recognize your chemotherapy drugs? This is like just making sure he knows what he's talking about. So if you're not confident and you are interested, then have a consult with Dr. Jansen, because he actually knows what he's talking about. So that is my important tip, you know, because you know there are many things that work in the market, but things that work in the market can sometimes also carry risk involved. Even chemotherapy drugs have risk, right? That's why all our viewers, many of you are concerned about even taking chemotherapy drugs because you're concerned of the side effects. So every time we are exploring drugs for other usages, yes, they obviously work, or else why would these things come about? But would it work for you? Is there any danger with anything that you are taking? So remember, when it comes to drugs, drugs do have contraindications. That means certain drugs can't be used together. So make sure that the doctor that's recommending you a drug that's not commonly used for the illness that you're doing, make sure that person is qualified. All right, make sure that person is qualified. That's all I wanted to advise you. Yeah, but you know, I understand. Go out and you want to explore, and this is why we have our program, right, Dr. Jansen? Every Thursday,
Yes.
here, it's for you to
So
that you can get a more,
yeah, and for our viewers,
yeah, right.
yeah,
So you can ask
for our viewers, take advantage of this.
yeah,
This is free.
yeah, you can ask these questions and get a logical question. All right. Sorry, a logical answer. All right, Jen, next question.
Yes, that's why she has a follow-up question. Can ivermectin and zoledronic acid have adverse reaction?
No, there's none. You can take them together. There's no interaction.
Okay, that's good
Okay,
news
okay.
for
I'll
you.
give you a tip. No, how do I know? How do I know?
Okay.
Go to Google and type in drugs.com. Then check for interactions between the medications. Usually you will know there. So I actually use that to check drug interactions if there are. Yeah. So that's one tip. So ivermectin, zoledronic acid doesn't have any interactions. Okay?
So I
Wow,
think
we
this is,
have lucky viewers tonight. They have insider tip.
yeah, I think this is also this is an opportunity for me to say how does our program come into your life? You know, as AI gets better and better, you know, you can actually ask ChatGPT many of the questions. So how do we play a part in the modern world? The answer is this: you do your own research, you Google. And I know, because I'm also a client, I'm also a patient to some other doctor, right? at some point of my life, one way or another. I know that as much as I Google and know the answer, I still want a confirmation. That's why I want to ask a doctor, right? And this is good, and this is how we can come into play. And sometimes it's the reverse. No matter what you hear, what doctors say, you still want to do your own research to confirm what the doctor says. So I think going forward, the best way for all viewers and all patients is to do both. You know, you do your own research, and then confirm with a doctor that you trust to make sure that you researched correctly. All right, so with that, let's continue to the many questions that we have tonight.
Yes, next question coming from Mites Bustamante. I have a hypoechoic breast mass and usual ductal hyperplasia. Do I need treatment for this?
Right now, no. I would just monitor this. Okay. How do you monitor this? Of course, you have to, feel if there is a lump, feel for it. Try to see if it's growing in size. Then, of course, undergo breast ultrasound, mammogram regularly. So, if you have this kind of findings, then every 6 months of breast ultrasound, then annual mammogram would be enough.
Thank you, Doc.
I want to encourage every person that is actually asking very specific medical questions to go and have a consult with Dr. Jansen. The reason is because when you're asking your question like that, Dr. Jansen does not have the full information of your case. And what he's giving you is a general approach, in general, what a patient would do. So, when it comes to specific medical conditions, it's always very good to have a consult. And what's so great is that Dr. Jansen has schedules for teleconsult. So you don't have to spend 4 hours in traffic waiting at his clinic. You can just arrange a time and you can have a quick consult with him to confirm the things that he's sharing with you tonight.
Yes, that's true. So next question from Robert Julius Muyot. Good evening, Doc Jansen. What is the difference between pulmonary mass to subpleural or pleural-based mass? Thank you.
It's the same thing.
That's a quick answer. It's the same thing.
The same thing. Pulmonary mass is a mass found inside your lungs. Subpleural or pleural mass is just a more specific location, no? In your lung, but it's basically the same thing. So it's a mass inside your lung.
All right, so it's just one is a subset on the other, right? It's like saying a basketball is a type of ball, being more specific. All right, so yeah, Doc, it is sometimes very confusing to patients when they read the diagnosis or prognosis of a medical report, because they use very big words and it's not easy. Even when we search the words, it doesn't mean that it's easy to understand. Yeah. So thank you very much for being here to be able to answer these questions to the viewers.
Yes. Next question coming from Jen Chan Ang. Is it normal for a cancer patient to lose weight, but will chemotherapy cause a patient to lose weight further and become very thin or skinny?
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. Yes. No. So one side effect of chemotherapy is, of course, it kills your healthy cells. So that's one reason why patients on chemotherapy lose weight. Another one is the cancer itself. If you are a cancer patient, then tendency is you will also lose weight because of the disease itself. It's a defense mechanism of your body. Right? And another one, of course, another side effect of chemotherapy is you will vomit, you have nausea, so you lose appetite. And if you lose appetite, you're not going to eat. Okay? So if you don't eat as much, then you lose weight.
That's why for everyone who's undergoing chemotherapy or thinking about undergoing chemotherapy or radiation therapy, I just want to say one thing, right? It is very apparent that Simply Nature soft gel, okay, take at least a soft gel capsule. So for example, some doctors that work with us, like Dr. Jimmy, he often prepares his patients who are undergoing chemotherapy with soft gel capsules. Now, it's not rocket science. It's not some very complicated thing. It's very, very simple, right? If you are going, for example, if you're going for a medical scan tomorrow, there will be a 12-hour fasting period, right? If they're going to scan your GI, you got to empty your bowels, make sure it's clear. So for 12 hours before you take your scan, you can't eat anything. So you got to prepare yourself, right? Before you go for surgery, you know, they got to make sure that they bring down your blood sugar level so that it doesn't affect the clotting of your blood. It doesn't affect the surgery. Before you go for dental, for example, dental implant, you know, you have to test your blood pressure. If your blood pressure is 150, they won't continue with the implant because it might react with the anesthesia that the dentist is going to use local anesthesia on you. It might even cause cardiac arrest. So you got to understand, so you can also prep yourself nutritionally, right? This is not using drugs. This is natural PIPA soft gel capsules to boost your immune system, to protect yourself, to strengthen better modulate inflammation in your body. So this will help with the inflammation that will come when you use chemotherapy, because there's so much damage that it does to your body. That's why there's lots of inflammation in your body. So all these things are things that you can prep yourself while you're going for chemotherapy. And then one of the best ways to do that is just a soft gel capsule and tablets together in combination. Now, if you're taking the soft gel capsule and tablets together, and yet you still feel terrible after the chemotherapy, then quickly go on the liquid extract. All right, that's exactly what some of our doctors do. Patients who don't do well on chemo, for example, after the second session, they really can't take it anymore. They have very strong negative side effects. Then they put them on the liquid extract to quickly strengthen them. For example, your white blood cell count drops because of chemotherapy. You can't continue your chemotherapy. You want to bring the red blood cell count up before you can continue. That's exactly how some of my Singapore clients and patients actually use our liquid extract. So again, this is the part of the you can do more, so that you can go through whatever chosen protocol that you have chosen for cancer to make sure that your odds are better. And then at this point, Doc, I just want to reiterate Doc Jansen and my position when it comes to cancer treatment. In our program, we all have our personal preferences, right, Doc? I mean, if you have cancer, you will treat it in a particular way. I mean, I think the best way to know, the best way to prove we all have our own preferences, no matter who we are, is what happens when a doctor himself gets cancer. Then you will know they actually have certain preferences. What would they choose, right? So although me and Doc Jansen have our own personal preferences when it comes to treating cancer, we are in a position this program is to help you to make the best out of the way you have chosen that you want to treat your cancer. So there are many of our viewers who want 100% natural. Then based on our knowledge and our experience with other colleagues, we will share with you what we know to be the best way to treat cancer naturally, as best as we know how to. And that's how we will advise. If you want to go for chemotherapy, then we will advise you how to make sure chemotherapy and immunotherapy will have the best effect. All right, so I hope our audience realizes, and we have evolved, both Dr. Jansen and me, over the last 2 years, right? So we've also learned to come to that place where we understand, obviously, there are many methods and ways, and cancer works. No, I just had a breakfast meeting 2 days ago with one of the top oncological surgeons in the Philippines, and he's from your alma mater, from St. Luke's. Okay, so we were sharing a lot about the inside track about training surgeons, and he shared with me something that I was stunned. He said that, do you know, as long as you're a doctor, you're allowed to do surgery, because as a doctor, you're qualified to practice all forms of medicine. That isn't actually a requirement. I was so shocked. I did not know that, you know. But yet, you know, he said, of course, you want to choose a surgeon that's certified. But actually, it's not illegal for a general practitioner to actually do surgery. So I was very surprised by that conversation. But this was very interesting. This is an oncological surgeon, all right? And he was sharing that now that he's a senior, a senior surgeon, he's also realizing that, he doesn't want to do surgery that much anymore. Age is catching up, so it affects his stamina and everything. And he says, last time, doc, he said he will only spend 5 to 10 minutes with a patient because so busy. But now he now spends like 15 minutes, 20 minutes talking to the patient. And he mentioned that, he always believed as a surgeon, you can eat anything. The answer that we often get from many of our oncologists, right? But he said now at his age, he says he's noticed when you change your lifestyle, you have better results. And so you see, even an oncological surgeon also changes and matures with experience and also phase of life. So he also realizes, you know what? He doesn't stop any of his patients from exploring TCM. He doesn't stop, but he just tries to give them some common sense advice. Now, for us in our program, that's exactly where we come from. So I want everyone to know you can ask us, and we will not be here to persuade you to change your approach to treating cancer. So if you want to treat cancer naturally, we will definitely give you the advice based on your chosen. But of course, we will tell you, come on, if your cancer is very aggressive, do take a look at the chemotherapy again, if it's necessary, because we feel it might be really necessary. But, we will still understand where you come from, and we want to tell you that, yes, there are many, many ways to treat cancer successfully. But not every way is suitable for every person, right? So we will advise based on the way that you have chosen. And of course, we also give a little bit of personal input, but the decision is always yours. And we're here to support you, right? Like Simply Nature, always with you from start to healing. Yeah, Jen, let's go.
Thank you, Doc. Thank you, Sir Shyan. Yes. Next question coming from Susan Lamiel Lopez. Good evening. I'm on my 12th cycle of targeted therapy. Can I take PPAR's tablets?
Want to ask what kind of targeted therapy you're taking. But in general, the answer is yes. But it would be better if I know to really give a more accurate answer.
There you go. All right. So why don't you type it in, or better still, arrange for a consult with Dr. Jansen. And then when you have a consult with him, you can ask him a lot more questions, like if your specific lifestyle that you're going through now, what other things that you're thinking about doing, what exercise you're thinking about exploring, and all these things, and one shot clear all these things so that you will do well in your fight against cancer and have no recurrence.
Okay, next question coming from Christine Banog. I am a breast cancer stage 2A patient, ER and PR positive, but HER2 negative. No carcinoma identified in the lymph nodes. I also have polycystic kidneys and liver. I'm afraid of chemo because of its effect on the kidneys. What is the best option to do?
The next question here is, have you had your breast removed already? Because if you haven't, then that's the best option to do now. Yeah, have it removed. The next question would be, would your surgeon would you be a candidate for surgery? Okay, because if the tumor is big, the surgeon won't touch the tumor. So if you are afraid of the chemotherapy, then one other option that we can do there is, use IV vitamin C, megadose IV vitamin C, and the other protocols that I have mentioned. So those are the things that you can do. Okay, if you are really afraid of chemo, if you don't really want chemo, but chemotherapy is really good for shrinking tumors, and there are chemotherapeutic medications that doesn't have any effect, that doesn't have any negative effect on the kidneys. So again, it would depend on the recommendations of the onco. Usually, if you mention this to your onco, they will choose chemotherapeutic drugs that has minimal effects on the kidney.
So for the viewer who asked this question, that's the best advice. Speak to your onco. Tell him that you worry about your kidney. He also knows the condition. And you tell him you have polycystic right? And then what happens is that your uncle is also very concerned because if you react negatively to the chemotherapy, it is under his responsibility. So be honest, give the full picture. Your uncle would then choose chemotherapy drugs that are less harmful to the kidneys. And on top of this, I would really suggest you have a consult with Dr. Jansen, and then so that he can help monitor your entire journey with your uncle, and he can prescribe to you both lifestyle modifications to protect your body, to keep it strong, so that whatever minimal effects the chemotherapy might have on your kidneys, they will be manageable. Another thing is, quite sure Dr. Jansen will put you, if I'm not wrong, he will very likely put you on Simply Nature extract liquid because that has the most protective effect on your kidneys, right? And it's going to also strengthen your kidneys because if you have a damaged kidney or a kidney that's under stress, there are other things that you want to make sure you are not suffering from. You don't want to be suffering from hypertension. You don't want to be having diabetes. There are other conditions that your body that's not cancer that you should also try to manage, because if you manage those things, then your kidney will be in a healthier position to be able to go through chemotherapy with very little or no side effects. It will remain healthy throughout that process. Now, again, why do we even consider going for chemotherapy is, of course, the benefits outweigh the risk, right? The ability of chemotherapy to kill the cancer tumor and shrink it is so real and it's so effective. So have a consult with Dr. Jansen so that he can give you a protocol to protect your kidney so that you can go through this process successfully and with little or no side effects. So Dr. Jansen has tremendous good track record in helping patients to manage their chemotherapy. And for those of you who really want to meet him and Dr. Jimmy is an oncological surgeon, and Dr. Jimmy administers chemotherapy. He will share with you patient after patient stories and testimonies and case studies of how patients who are not reacting well to chemotherapy, they went on to protocols like PIPA protocols that help them, protect them throughout the chemotherapy sessions, and the patients now are all doing well. So that will be March 16. You can come and take advantage of that and get free consult from Dr. Jansen. After the event, I remember Dr. Jansen and Dr. Jimmy couldn't leave the event hall for at least 1 hour because a whole line of people just refused to let them walk out the door. Every step they take, another person asks them another question. So take advantage of that. You will be seeing Dr. Jansen, and I'll be there also to answer any questions you may have about PPAPs.
She already had her answer that she did mastectomy.
Oh, okay. So, Doc, how would you respond to that additional information?
Yeah, if you already have your mastectomy, then the role of chemotherapy then would just be to eradicate the microscopic tumors that or cancer cells that got dislodged from the site. And with having surgery, your prognosis is quite good already. It significantly increases survival rate. Okay? So the next step would be actually to consider hormone therapy and the other treatments like try to eradicate the cancer stem cells, like what I have mentioned a while ago. So these are the things that you can do.
All right. So if you want to know more about why hormone therapy and what kind of hormone therapy and how do you support yourself if you're going for hormone therapy, what other things like supplements or lifestyle changes that will give you even better results, go for a consult with Dr. Jansen. All right. Or if you want to know more specifically about PPAR protocols, then just drop a message. So we will have teams to answer your question on both sides.
Okay, moving on to next question from Rose Campagnano.
Oxygen, yeah.
Okay. I am taking Ibrance for my stage 4 MBC. CBC tests after the 21-day cycle show low WBC and RBC and an elevated mean corpuscular volume. How can this be addressed po? Thank you.
That is a very common side effect of eye brands. Okay, so unfortunately, as long as you're on eye brands, it will happen. There are things that we can do to mitigate it, to prevent it from further going down. One is ozone therapy, and of course, PPARs as well. Okay, those two can happen. My suggestion is do both. Okay, because sometimes doing just one doesn't work as well as doing both. Okay, so to ensure efficacy, you can do both. So again, ozone therapy and PPARs.
Yep, I think that says it all.
Okay, next question from Doña Maneklang. Hello, Dr. Jansen. If I have a right breast 2.6 by 1.9 by 1.6 centimeters solid hypoechoic with lobulated irregular margins, am I a candidate for chemotherapy? Thank you.
Doc, you're muted.
Can you say the
Repeat.
question again? Repeat the
Okay.
question. Yeah.
From Miss Donna, on the right breast, 2.6 by 1.9 by 1.6 centimeter, solid hypoechoic with lobulated irregular margins. Am I a candidate for chemotherapy?
Not yet. You have to undergo biopsy first.
Doc, why?
Okay. The reason is having such ultrasound is not confirmatory for cancer. It can be a benign mass. So chemotherapy is only for cancer. Okay. And they also have to know what kind of breast cancer cell you have to know what kind of chemotherapy they will give you. So that's the main reason. So having this finding is not enough for you to undergo chemo. Because what if it's benign? Okay, so a biopsy has to be performed first.
So that's very important for everybody to know. We always use the term chemotherapy drugs. There are actually many different types of chemotherapy drugs. You know, you have a cocktail of chemotherapy drugs, all and of different dosages. So although when we are discussing in a program like that, we just use the term chemotherapy, but actually there are many different types, and there are many novel chemotherapy drugs. That means chemotherapy drugs are specific for specific strains of cancer. So that's why you need to do a biopsy so that they know exactly what they're going after. So I just want to ask, I just want to preempt this, Ms. Donna. I'm hoping for good news that when you do the biopsy, it turns out the tumor is benign. It's not cancer, all right? So if that's the case, then I will tell you, just go on PIPA protocol. Since it's not cancer, it's benign, you might want to opt to go for the powder instead of the liquid because it's not cancer. So time is not like a super urgent. So that you can actually shrink your tumor naturally. So why does it happen? Because PPAR actually activates your body's own immune response. So your own body's immune system is also responsible for getting rid of unwanted or wrong growths. All right. So when your body has an abnormal growth, your body actually has its immune system to get rid of it, to clean it out, to remove it. That's why most of us don't develop cancer. We develop cancer when our body fails to remove abnormal growths, and then slowly it builds up and then becomes big, and then becomes malignant or becomes cancerous. Okay, so for Ms. Donna, go for the confirmation of whether it's benign or malignant. I am hoping that it will be benign, and the waiting is quite tormenting. I understand. You know, it's like the area of like, okay, so why don't, because you don't want to be too hopeful, because you don't want to be disappointed, but yet you want to be hopeful because you don't want it to be positive. So yes, I totally understand. I'll just keep you in prayer. All right, the Lord give you peace. All right, and no matter what the results is, remember your life is in the Lord's hands, and He's the one in charge, and you'll be fine. Okay, now if it's when it's benign, then quickly just go for the HEPA powder extract, drop a note, and then Jan will get to you, and then we can shrink that benign tumor naturally. You don't have to go for chemotherapy or anything like that. Okay, we're all standing with you, Donna.
Yes, she said waiting for the result of biopsy already, but waiting is quite tormenting. So you can
Yes.
start with the PPARS powder, ma'am, because it
Yeah.
can be used for benign tumors to active cancer. So
Oh, that's
pick up.
true, and it's also preps you right now. That means it prepares you. Either way, you are no loss, right? If it's benign, great. You're starting to shrink the tumor. If it turns out to be what we don't want it to be, you're also ready for the next treatment because you've already strengthened your system, ready for whatever protocols you may choose at that time.
Exactly. Okay, next question coming from Emelda Oracion. Done mastectomy last November. My onco advised me to have chemo, but I want to look for other medicine aside from chemo. Can I take PPARS alone?
No. Okay. I'll say it to you straight. No. Um, okay, here's the thing. Cancer has a lot of pathways that makes it grow. Although PPARS is something it's a supplement that acts on different pathways already, no. But here's the thing: what if the cancer grows on another pathway, or what if it mutates? Okay, so you cannot just take one substance alone. Okay, it's the same thing with all the other oncologic protocols. You cannot just take one. Okay, that's why we see recurrent tests, right? And sometimes we see um, non-responsiveness of the tumor. Okay, so don't just rely on one product. There's no such thing. Okay, but hopefully we pray that someday it comes, no? But until then, that's how it is. Okay, yeah.
I want to add to Dr. Jansen's answer because he gave a very clear and resounding no. Okay, because today many of us asked, how do we stop recurrence? So maybe Dr. Jansen, we can talk a bit about this topic. Why do cancer come back? Maybe I can start with my general understanding, and then Dr. Jansen, you can fill in on from your deeper medical perspective, since this is your area of specialty. Okay. For everybody to understand in a simple manner, is this. When you fight against cancer, you never truly remove all the cancer cells. Okay, you just if you go for chemotherapy or if you go for natural or surgery, whatever the case, when you beat cancer, there are definitely cases where a person was cured. Sorry, where a person was beat cancer with chemotherapy, and then the cancer came back. There are cases of that, right? There are cases where people went for surgery and chemotherapy, and then they were declared cancer-free, then 2 years later, the cancer comes back. Now, it's also true on those who heal themselves naturally. Okay, those people who heal themselves naturally of cancer, 2-3 years later, the cancer also comes back. So it's not only those who treat themselves with chemotherapy that the cancer comes back. It also happens to those who treated themselves naturally without using chemotherapy. Cancer also does come back. So why does the cancer come back? I think to put it simply, you never got rid of the cancer 100%. You just got rid of the cancer to the point that it cannot be detected by the scans or the blood test or whatever diagnosis that you're doing. Because when the cancer comes back, it is a recurrence. It's the same cancer. So if it really disappeared from your body 100%, then it's not a recurrence. It's a new cancer. Like, for example, you had breast cancer and then later you had liver cancer. Because breast cancer cells are different from liver cancer cells. But that's not the case with recurrence. With recurrence, it's your breast cancer cells that now suddenly also appear in your liver and in your bones. It's not bone cancer. It's the same old breast cancer, but now it is found in your liver and your bones. So what does it mean? It means that it never really left your body. It's just that you killed a large percentage of it and it became so small that it's no longer detectable. So how do we prevent recurrence? The whole strategy, if you understand this, then what you want to understand is you want to kill as much of it as possible and keep your body so strong that it doesn't have a chance to multiply. It always stays at that low level. Diba? Dr. Jansen, one of my turning points in my life is when someone asked me this question. I mean, I went to a lecture by a performance coach, right? And he made the most strange statement in the world. He said, viruses don't cause you to be ill. That is technically wrong, right, Doc? Because you become sick because of the viral infection. But he then asked a follow-up question. He said, the US Navy did an experiment. They purposely injected everyone on the ship with the flu virus. But not everyone got sick. It's true, right? Some of us, some of your family members got COVID, but you were staying in the same house and you didn't get COVID. You stayed COVID negative. So the lecturer said one thing. It's true that viruses can cause you to fall sick. But what really makes you sick is that your immune system is not strong enough to fight off the virus. So if your immune system is strong enough to fight off the virus will not be able to make you sick. So if you understand this is your strategy to prevent recurrence of cancer. Make sure your body is strong enough to keep pushing the cancer back so that it cannot come back in your life. And now, how does chemotherapy work in this area? The idea is with the chemotherapy, to flood your system one more time, right? To kill because the doctor assumed there might be cancer cells that are still quite big, but not detectable yet, because you don't scan your whole body when you do a CT scan. You scan specific areas, right? You concentrate on specific areas. So the cancer cell could be anywhere. So they want you to go through chemotherapy, circulate everywhere, and hopefully kill off most of the cancer cells so that it's only a very small amount that stays in your body. That small amount because it's so little, your immune system is able to control it and suppress it for the rest of your life. So it will never ever full-blown cancer again. So you'll be healthy for the rest of your life, right? So that's the idea. So that's why Dr. Jansen is very clear. No, right? Because if you are strong enough to take 1 or 2 more sessions of chemotherapy, if that 1 or 2 extra chemotherapy sessions won't negatively impact your health, then it's worth it, to flush out the system to do that. And now with PIPA protocols, you can actually manage the negative side effects of the chemotherapy. Why wouldn't you do it? It's like using Clorox, diba? If you use Clorox on your toilet bowl to clean the toilet to kill all the germs, because you have a mask, you say, okay lang, because with the mask, I can survive the Clorox while I use it. So this is the same idea, right? Why won't you use the Clorox if you have a mask? If you don't have a mask, you may say, oh, I cannot stand the fumes. But if you have a mask, why not use the Clorox and ensure that your toilet bowl is 100% germ-free or very, very clean? So the PIPA protocol is like the mask. It gives you the confidence to be able to go for your chemotherapy. All right. And as Dr. Jansen says, and I also agree, even though for those of you who want to treat cancer totally naturally, I would tell you, because I am a very strong proponent for PIPA's protocol, I would tell you that PIPA's is the best foundational protocol. But if you want to add, you should add curcumin to it or turmeric to it. You should add exercise to it. You should add taking vitamin C together with your PIPA's, because every little bit helps. Right. I hope that's a definitive answer, as definitive as Dr. Jansen's very strong no. Okay. And I think today's topic, is really focusing on recurrence. And Doc, I think there's a very good reason why, because breast cancer now has such a high chance of success the first round. What we really fear is really the recurrence, because when the same cancer comes back, it's much harder to treat because it's now resistant to the chemotherapy, is resistant even to the natural therapy, because that's why it was able to come back, right? So preventing recurrence is actually the key topic when it comes to breast cancer now, because the first round, we have many, many protocols that can help you beat cancer the first round. Doc, anything to add about recurrence?
That's true, no, what you said. But some another problem there is why do we see some recurrences? Is because there are cancer stem cells, which I already mentioned. No?
Yes.
Cancer stem cells cannot be killed by chemotherapy, even yeah, because they are not actively replicating. Okay, so another reason is because there are well, cancer itself can evolve. Okay, and when it evolves in such a way, or it mutates, no, in such a way that your immune system is not doesn't detect it anymore, then it can spread. Okay, so those are some of the ways. No, so I'll have a very short answer to that, but that some other factors that we have to consider because remember, cancer has 10 hallmarks. Okay, and actually we have for each of these hallmarks, no, we have chemotherapeutic drugs. Okay, and the reason why we don't target all these 10 hallmarks, no, to get all together with chemotherapy is because, yeah, you can kill the cancer, but you also die. Okay, so oncologists usually tend to give you one chemotherapy or a combination of two only. And sometimes patients develop toxicities just from one or two chemotherapeutic drugs. No? So for the other hallmarks that we might not have, the chemotherapy might not have had covered, then we have to use other protocols. Okay, so that's the main reason why you cannot just take one substance or one product alone for cancer, no, or to prevent cancer from coming back. Okay, because what if it doesn't work? Okay.
Ayun. I hope that gives clarity to all the patients, survivors, and advocates. Next question from Miss Salia Bongcanvilla. I don't know why after 5 years of mastectomy, sometimes the operation place has pain. I just rest and relax at home, also have lunch at cafe.
Yeah, because it was removed, no? During the removal, some nerves might get damaged, so that's why you still feel pain up until now. So it's quite a common thing to experience actually. And one tip that you can do to manage the pain, no, is just to take pain relievers like the typical ones like your ibuprofen, mefenamic acid, or your celecoxibs, no, to lessen the pain. Okay?
Okay, from my perspective, with experience with clients, so this one is a little bit how shall we say? It's gonna fall more on the TCM side than medicine, physiology, and anatomy. All right. So one thing that from a traditional Chinese medicine kind of perspective is that there was insufficient okay, they will use the word qi and blood, all right, insufficient strength or in particular organs or channels to complete the healing. Okay, so there will become, so in Chinese medicine there's always excess and deficiency. All right, so when there's pain, it could be excess. So excess, although it's not a direct correlation, it can be understood like when you have inflammation, fever, it could be an excess, right? So that's why you feel high temperature, excess inflammation, your body is hyperactive, right? So that's considered excess. So the other side is deficiency. So when you have pain in wounds, old wounds, right? One simple perspective of understanding it without going into the minute details in the anatomy, right? Like bones, in order to correct some wrong bone repair, you actually have to break the bone again so that you can set it right, right? So that is one way you can understand this. So okay, if you have an old wound from your mastectomy, you can try. Okay, you can try PIPA protocols, right? You can try. I will actually ask you to try the tablets, and if you can, try the powder. Take the powder 1 jar to see if that can actually stimulate or correct the deficiency and allow your old wound to heal properly. Okay, so let me give you an example. Now, I had a friend who knew all about who was taking PIPA tablets because she's quite healthy. She just took it for like metabolic syndromes. Then one day we were in Bicol, I remember, because we were in Bicol, I was just looking at Mayan volcano, and then I came back to the dinner table, and I happened to have a jar of PIPA powder with me. So she was curious. She said, "Can I try?" And I said, "Sure." So I think she took 2 scoops. The next morning, she came up to me and said, "Last night my breast hurt." I said, "Oh, are you okay?" I just wanted to assure her, maybe she thought, "Oh, did she get poisoned by the pipa powder or something?" I mean, I just want to make sure she was comfortable. So she said, No, I understand why. She told me she understood why. I said, "Why?" "I had a breast operation before. So last night after taking the pipa powder, the pain was actually on the old surgical wounds." So she understood that her surgical wounds, the healing was just not complete. So when she took the PPARs, the body had sufficient, chi blood, if you can think it in an abstract manner, all right, that it will attempt to finish the healing, and that's why it makes the thing sensitive again, right? So I give another simple analogy. If you are a smoker, hey guys, I just had like I said, I had a conversation with the oncological surgeon, right? And then we were just talking about TCM and conventional medicine perspective. So I said to him, actually, when you look at TCM, you will see that they explain medicine in a poetic manner. What do I mean by that? They explain it not by deep understanding of mechanism. They explain it by observing all the manifestation. They see all the effects without understanding the actual mechanism. They form a poetic understanding, but it's very encompassing because it's observed over 1,000 years, and they form a complete perspective and reasoning that can actually predict and consistently manage the manifestations. So that's why it works, right? So with that, yeah. So a smoker, if you smoke a lot of cigarettes, you don't cough anymore. But when your lungs get healthy, if you smoke cigarette, you cough. So it was your lungs strong? How come you cough now and you didn't cough in the past? So based on that, if you take PPARs and your old wound hurts, it's like your lungs is clean. You take a puff of smoke, you cough, right? Because your wounds are sensitive again. The cells there are actually rejuvenated again. They will attempt to correct and heal. So that's one approach. So for this particular viewer, yeah, no harm. Try the pipa powder. It'll be good for if you have metabolic syndromes, you're gonna totally treat your metabolic syndromes. And there's a good chance that your pain will actually rectify because your wounds will actually heal more completely. Yeah.
Thank you, Sir Shyan. We're almost at the end of the webinar. This will be our last question for tonight from Denise Zayo. Which herbal medicine can I buy to prevent cancer?
Okay, I answered this one. No.
Okay, fine. It did not come from me, okay?
Okay, number 1, all right. Since you use the word herbal, so I will tell you something. There is no cancer in TCM. If you ask any Chinese doctor, there is no such thing as cancer. Okay, it's all what we call pattern recognition. There is deficiency and excesses. So basically, you have to tweak your body. If your body constitution and your behavior, your lifestyle causes a lot of excesses, then yeah, you got to temper it down. Now, lifestyles can also cause deficiencies, right? For example, okay, this is kind of a funny one, right? If you have too much sex, all right, you actually deplete you actually weaken your liver and your kidneys, right? So if you have too much sex, all right. So that's why in China, once a guy hits 50, they actually take supplements to actually specifically strengthen liver and kidney because age also weakens your organs, right? Okay, so cancer has many root causes. There are many types of cancer, from breast cancer to liver cancer, lung cancer, bone cancer. So there isn't any herbal remedy that can prevent cancer because cancer is not the actual root cause of your disease. you usually get metabolic syndromes before you get cancer. So if you manage your life and prevent metabolic syndromes, your chances of getting cancer is actually dramatically lower. So you are actually preventing cancer because you're lowering your chance of getting cancer if you manage your metabolic syndromes, right? So that's why I think Dr. Jansen had a very strong reaction because the answer is this: you shouldn't target cancer, right? Because if you can stop the other things like your high blood cholesterol, high diabetes, chronic inflammation, if you stop all those, your chance of getting cancer is very low. So you have prevented cancer. All right, you actually have prevented cancer. If you stay healthy, you have prevented cancer. So cancer is not like a virus, all right, except for one type of cancer, right? That you can actually get vaccinated for, right? Cancer is actually a final manifestation, so you can't actually prevent it specifically. There is no way to. It's like trying to stop a waterfall with your hands. It will just go through the holes. It's just a totally wrong idea and wrong approach. Okay, but what you can do is that you can do things that keep you healthy, remove your metabolic syndromes, and in essence, you're actually preventing yourself from getting cancer. Okay, so you prevent cancer by making sure you don't develop diabetes, you don't develop high blood cholesterol, all these factors that affect your chances of developing cancer. If you manage them, you effectively prevent cancer. And not just one type of cancer, you prevent all the different types of cancer. All right. So, Doc, is that question like is that answer like okay for you?
I think that's being nice.
All right. So
Yeah.
So wait, the strategy. If you want to prevent cancer, what can you do? Okay. What herbal remedies? Okay. So I'll use the term that you asked. Okay. What herbal remedies can you do? Okay. Number one, if you're a lady, right, drink green tea so that you have good amount of green tea polyphenols in your system. That's antioxidants, right? Take PPAR tablets because that has small amounts of PPAR agonist. It stimulates and activates your immune system. It stimulates and activates to modulate your inflammation. So these two things are basically like anti-cancer. Okay. It also helps regulate your metabolic syndromes. So your blood cholesterol, diabetes, all this, they will become normal. That is also anti-cancer. Okay, so it is actually very anti-cancer. Okay, so if you're talking about a specific herbal remedy that's across the board, that is anti-cancer, then I say start with PPAR tablets. Then what else do you add to it? Take vitamin C. That's going to help you. That's also anti-cancer, right? In that sense. Make sure you exercise. Stop eating so much meat, right? That's also anti-cancer. Eat more vegetables, right? But let's go back to your specific questions. Personally, I would recommend the PPAR tablets if you're not actually suffering from cancer or anything, because that's something that you can maintain. It's affordable. It helps you with your metabolic syndromes. It helps you with blood cholesterol, diabetes, helps you with inflammation. It's a super antioxidant. So that is as good as you get. It covers every possible different types of cancer. It covers the root causes of those cancer. Okay, so that's what I would recommend if you are looking for a herbal remedy. Okay, yeah, Dr. Jansen is he looked at satisfied smile. Okay. So let's quickly move on to another question.
Okay. Now I can still see a lot of questions coming in, but that's all we've got that's all we've got time for today. So don't worry, we will answer each of your questions next webinar or via direct message. And just before we say goodbye, can you give our viewers your parting words for tonight?
Yeah, Dr. Jansen.
Yeah, I'll start. So it's actually a quite very interesting webinar tonight. There are a lot of wonderful questions, really good questions at that, no? So I hope to all of you who asked the questions, I hope you learned something, no? I hope we were able to help you make a decision, an informed decision. But if you're still not satisfied, please feel free to send us a message so we can arrange arrange a consult, no? So I can guide you better. Okay, so that's it for me. So I'll give the floor to Shan. Thank you for having me.
I want to say to everyone, I hope everyone that you can appreciate what we're trying to do here. It will be so easy for us to say, just do this and you'll be cancer free, right? Take this product and then it'll cure your cancer. But for Dr. Johnson and I, we know the truth. The truth is our understanding of what cancer actually is. It's many of us think that cancer is the problem. No, cancer is the final manifestation. All right. So if you really want to be able to be cancer free, you have to not even. Cancer is like step 10. All right. Step 1 is feeling tired. Step 2 is damaging your liver, but not to the point that you are sick, right? Step 3 is you start to develop fatty liver. Step 4, you start to have high blood cholesterol. Then step 5, you have diabetes. Then step 6, you had a mild heart attack. Step 7, all these steps before you actually reach cancer. So so that's why we hope that you have a proper understanding. It is so easy for me to tell you, just take PPAR and you'll be anti-cancer. Perhaps you want that simple answer, and I'll tell you that now. Okay, but actually, so that I can sleep at night and have a clear conscience, I want to give you as complete an understanding as you can, right? So that you choose well, and you'll stay cancer-free, and not only cancer-free, you'll be healthy. You'll be free from diabetes, you'll be free from blood cholesterol, you enjoy your life, you have energy, you look good, and you will feel good. So it's not just about focusing on the cancer. That's just a final manifestation, right? So with that, I hope you stay cancer-free for those of us who are cancer-free right now, and not only that, but healthy. And for those who are fighting cancer, we are here with you to stand with you, give you the proper advice. There is no one magic bullet. So feel free to always ask us what other options you can do. You can always do more. All right, you can always do more, right? Just make sure the extra step that you take is not counterproductive. Make sure there's no contraindication with what is working for you now. All right, so that's what we're here for, to let you know, okay, yeah, you want to try this? Yeah, go ahead. It's fine. It won't affect the success that you see now. Okay, so that's how we are. I look forward to seeing you again next Thursday, and to see as many of you at our live in person on March 16th. Look forward to seeing you guys. Have a good weekend ahead. Jen, the floor is yours.
Yes, thank you, Doc. Thank you, Sir Shan. We hope to see you all in our future webinars to come, same day, same time, every Thursday night at 7:30 p.m. For next week, February 1, we are going to continue with breast cancer series for World Cancer Day. But before that, we are going to have a Sulit Sweldo sale on Lazada Mall starting January 28 to February 1. And lastly, on March 16, Saturday, an SMX Aura, you are all invited to a hybrid health seminar entitled Innovative Modalities in Cancer Treatment, Pushing Boundaries for Better Outcomes. Limited slots only, so don't miss out on this opportunity to be part of a transformative experience. Reserve your seat, bring your friends, and let's embark on a journey to a healthier and happier you. Only 150 pesos for a ticket, either on-site, face-to-face in SMX Aura, or online live Zoom webinar. Thank you once again for watching Simple Nature webinar powered by SMG or Simply Healed Medical Group. Because your curiosity about your health condition and your victory over cancer and metabolic diseases is what keeps us going. Because here in Simply Nature, we're always with you from start to healing. Thank you, everyone. Good night and God bless you all.
Hi, this is Shan, and I'm here to update you with a quick teaser. October 14th of 2023, we had our very first post-pandemic face-to-face conference on cancer, and it was a smash hit. The participants loved the ability to ask our panelists of myself, Dr. Jansen, our expert in lifestyle medicine, and Dr. Jimmy Katapia, who's our oncological surgeon, they were able to get all the answers they wanted about cancer and whether or not to go for surgery. So we are planning in 2024 another session by popular demand because everyone wanted to us to have another one so that they can bring their friends. So a quick teaser, we're gonna have back Dr. Jansen, Dr. Jimmy Katapia, so all of you with questions on chemotherapy, on surgery, the doctors and the panelists are there to answer your question. And we have an upcoming special guest. We are hoping to get someone who is going to be an expert on diagnosis, something as very interesting like liquid biopsy, all right? So that's something new and on the cutting edge of cancer diagnostics. So those of you who could not make it for our face-to-face, well, this time round in 2024 on March 16th, we're gonna do ours with a Zoom option. So those of you who are in the province who can't join us here in Metro Manila, look out for the details so that you can join us on the Zoom cast.